Hello everyone and welcome to another brand new video over here. Now, as you guys know, Resident Evil Requiem is coming out in the very near future, or maybe it's already out depending on when you guys go and see this video. But right now we're going to be focusing a lot on the PS5 Pro versus the PlayStation 5 on the showcase and how much this game has been massively improved by utilizing the PSSR, and as well just how this game is looking absolutely phenomenal. One of the first games to kind of go and push the PS5 Pro to its more upper limits, and I think it's turned out phenomenal so far. And as well, we are actually going to be going and covering up a video probably tomorrow, so make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on, discussing the brand new PSSR 2.0 updates that are actually maybe rolling out or even utilized in this video here. So if you guys enjoy this type of news and updates, feel free to subscribe. Like I said, we have the Twitter and Twitch down below. We might even be checking out Marathon on the channel in the next upcoming few hours, so be on the lookout for that if you guys want something cozy to go and watch. And as well, we're going to also be doing a little shout out to Digital Foundry, who did a lot of the showcasing and gameplay, but let's go and break this on down. Because as you guys know, Resident Evil is probably going to be one of the more anticipated games of this year. Early review scores are putting it towards the game of the year, and I think a lot of the showcasing of this in the PS5 Pro is a big reason for it. It's a game that actually is trying, so let's go and break it on down. So there's a lot of cool stuff. We're going to kind of let the kind of intro up a little bit itself, but there's crazy differences between the PS5 and the PS5 Pro for this game. But as well, even without that, you know, the big comparison details, the game itself looks phenomenal. There are details, there's shadows, there's ray tracing, there's water effects, shimmering effects everywhere, and it's a beautiful rendition. Anyone who enjoys horror or these types of games like Silent Hill will probably absolutely adore this game. Let's go break the sun down. We'll do a little mixture of reaction, a little mixture of my own thoughts on it, so I hope you guys will enjoy.
Realistic reflections.
Look at how beautiful that is.
While the traffic, elevated train, and well-worn store facades help ground it in reality. It's just a simple stroll down a busy street, something to set up the game's story, but the results are tremendous. More so than any other RE engine title to date, these—
as you guys can kind of just see, like I'm gonna pause periodically. There is so much attention to detail in this environment, in this world. Looking at the street, people walking, rain is literally dripping down from people's umbrellas. There is actual like details on the wall. Like there's actual attention to detail, which if you guys have seen some of this AI slop in other various games, watch this be an AI game myself and whatever, but let's hope not. But as we kind of go and see games nowadays, they're just not as defined. They're not as, like, I guess, invested into making an atmospheric game. And this is where the PS5 Pro really shines, because they have a chance to utilize things like ray tracing and shadow effects to just go make these games look a lot better.
first few minutes showcase a level of fidelity that appropriately sets expectations for the first
like it looks beautiful
generation Resident Evil title, but it's just a taste of what's to come. Over the course of the game, Requiem will take you to a variety of beautiful and haunting locations. I won't spoil them all in this video, of course, but know that there are some remarkable places to explore within.
Everything is flush with detail.
Far more open than anything we
even Leon's biceps. A lot of women are into it.
These environments make up just one portion of the stellar presentation which defines Resident Evil Requiem. There are several key areas, all of which I believe deserve attention. Obviously, the environments themselves, but we also have character models, which are among the best in any shipping game to date. We also have a tremendous use of real-time ray tracing,
which all due to PS5 Pro
reflections, along with stunning image quality on PS5 Pro, among the best we've seen on that system. If it's literally pushing it to the edge through the game, then all four of these elements and more, in fact, begin to surface. That initial street scene makes a very strong impression, but let's continue down this dark alley where decrepit buildings—
look at how immersive this is.
Ray-traced reflections and lighting are used to create this bright yet overcast scene that simulates the eyes peering from the shadows on a cloudy day. The building's surfaces exhibit a realistic sheen.
It feels like you're in like an LA noir,
which leverages ray tracing to great effect. That said, it also reveals a flaw. The reflections are of relatively low resolution, and there is visible breakup and noise in highly reflective scenes.
And I think maybe you guys saw this. If you guys might want to stir up this wall, like obviously we're gonna be fans of this on the Pro, and this can also be patched out. We've seen a lot of shimmering issues. It's been a known issue for it all. But if you want to look more so at this wall right here, is exactly what he's showcasing.
There is visible breakup.
You see how there is right here, like right where my mouse cursor is. If you see that,
such as this. Something that becomes—
it's like unrealistic water effects because the water effects are placed up on the wall itself instead of, say, like on the ground, so it does look very unnatural. But I think that's just the case of the PSSR and like AI integration, which isn't necessarily the best. But nonetheless, everything else is also, it's that stuff you can fine tune and change up, and I think over time will get fleshed out. It's kind of like, it still is annoying. I mean, we can't deny it.
Less of a problem in most other areas, but it's very noticeable here. Now, once we get inside, the mood changes dramatically.
Look at how beautiful
And
this is.
as we proceed, one of the things that really caught my eye is the reliance on subtle motions within.
So they're talking about the subtle motions, but as well, it also affects things like, say, ray tracing, because we have all these lightning particle effects that are actually real time being developed through this fan itself. As the fan moves, you can see the lighting lines. Might be hard on video, but like it's beautiful to see. Like, this is what I want from a AAA game.
In the environment, the gentle swaying of the curtain, the rattling of the rusty light fixtures, and the 3D sound that fills the scene.
All this to me is next level. I adore this, dude. Although you guys can maybe even see off that clip itself, there is a little bit of shimmering, like look throughout this, and you can see those little speckles and glitter, which it might be worth highlighting if we keep on seeing more and more as the game gets officially released. So be on the lookout for that, or like we'll let you guys know. But you guys can see that there is this sprinkle. I mean, it might be hard to see, but if you kind of stare and you kind of glance or maybe replay through that, you guys can see that there was and is like this weird shimmering effect still, which is I think due to the PSSR and AI integration still. So it's beautiful in all the other regards, but you cannot go and deny that. But I'm still rounding up towards it's good.
Volumetric lighting is
like this is what I was talking about before,
to help fill the hallways with atmosphere.
like this is like actually utilizing the PS5 Pro. This is beautiful,
working in tandem with subtle motion to create dramatic scenes such as this. We see a lot of general atmospheric effects in this vein, visual techniques used to fill the space.
Now that is also a
around the
mixture
player
of like, let's say, the
convincingly
light
thick
behind
mood.
it, but
This is also applied to dynamic lights such as flashlight beams.
this
During
is
the
like
escape
next
sequence,
level
for
of
instance,
game.
Grace's mother is seen carrying a flashlight with a volumetric cone, which
And you can see it
itself
affecting the
looks
real
excellent in
world
motion.
around you. Like that's awesome.
But if we move ahead and stop here, I love the way the light plays off the various surfaces, highlighting the intricate wooden texture.
So you guys are just seeing the
detail
first
with
level of how this
realistic
game on
specular
PC, on
highlights.
PS5 Pro
It's
looks
really great
amazing.
looking.
Now
And
the
in
segment's
fact,
almost
if we
done. We'll
jump
get to the
ahead just a
PS5 First
little
Pro
bit,
next.
Using our own flashlight, take note how, thanks to ray traced reflections, the projection of the flashlight beam can be observed in reflective surfaces like this glass cabinet.
That is so
here.
cool to me.
A really nice touch.
It's small, but it
As
is
we
the future
continue forward,
of gaming.
then, you can grab this envelope from behind the painting, and when it pops up, I noticed something interesting. Inventory items do not use any sort of anti-aliasing. Perhaps they're using some sort of render to texture trick to overlay them. Either way, this allows us to take our first pixel count, and the results are 31 out of 60 samples, or just above 1080p. Wait, that low? Alright, well, let's check out the normal graphics then by counting pixels after a frame cut. The results are the same, yet if you look at the image here, it's crystal clear. The perceived resolution seems significantly higher, suggesting that it's being reconstructed up to 4K.
And that's kind of a pretty big deal thing when it comes to like DLSS, is that they'll have like a 1080p image and be able to go utilize AI to upscale it. And that's something you kind of do in real time, and it's taxing on the GPU itself. So you guys can kind of see the base front of it all. There's a lot of good stuff, a lot of good details, and the game looks phenomenal. But a lot of people are more curious too for some other big things. So number one is when it comes to like, say, the ray tracing on the PS5 Pro.
Entirely.
Changes the
Which
game.
in turn enables a true 120 Hz mode that prioritizes high frame rates. Now, we'll talk about frame rates later, but the key here is that the resolution remains roughly the same, around 1080p, yet the perceptible image quality is much worse. So it would seem that the upsampler I mentioned earlier is simply disabled in this mode.
So something to note, as I
Take a
mentioned,
look at this City College Critters sign.
you can kind of almost see like the blurriness of it all. It's almost like fleshed out. A lot of people will say things such as like, say, the PS5 Pro versus like, say, other graphics modes. It's more of a gray scaled out to make sure the frames are a little bit more in depth. But you can even see on the glance of this, like it looks way more in texture, detailed, and full in color and light with the ray tracing on. So this is probably one of those games you'd want to play with a higher fidelity mode and focus on, say, having better graphics and better ray tracing, because it is an atmospheric horror game, so it kind of makes a lot more sense. But it is something to go and note too, is you can run better frames, but it does take it out of the atmospheric appearance. This is also kind of a good example of why you'd want to have the PS5 Pro versus the PS5, because you can kind of go and see these similar differences. You can kind of see the shadow effects and lighting effects where things look a lot more, let's say, worse. So you have this proper ray tracing mode on. You can see the lights are properly reflecting. You guys can look over here. It looks realistic-ish and natural-ish. Versus when you have all this off, the ray tracing off, this is not what a real light will look like. Looks like Lego blocks, looks fake, looks very, I guess like as a video game, if you will. And even the light over on the right side looks unnatural. You see little like bits and pieces, maybe from AI, maybe from other various things, and it's not really making it look good. Same with the pixel count too on the right side. If you guys can glance on that, it looks like dotted, sketched out lines. For solid lines over here and a more consistent reflection base with the ray tracing on. So you'd probably want to have this game on the PS5 Pro because the additional extra graphics settings and the PSSR will make the game look and feel a whole different world. It's like a big selling point for the PS5 Pro.
And you give up a lot of image quality in exchange for a higher frame rate. But of course, as the name implies, you also lose ray tracing.
Like these are literally different looking games.
Reflections. And even this first scene immediately shows a noticeable difference. The glass of this office building, for instance, just uses a cube map in the 120 Hz mode. It looks far more realistic with RT.
Like even looking just at the trees too, this entire thing just has more color and more depth, which is why once again the PS5 Pro is such a big selling point.
You also lose things like this, the flashlight reflecting in the glass here. Without ray tracing, you don't see this at all.
And these are things that do make things look a lot more realistic.
They do try to simulate this on opaque surfaces using SSR, but when anything occludes it, it can look a little bit messy like this. Conversely, the effect here is a little more subtle with ray tracing enabled, but it's more natural and doesn't have these occlusion issues.
So that's a good example of all this stuff. And as well, the next step is they're highlighting the character models. Now I'm going to maybe yap with this on my own accord over here, but as you guys can see, these are some of the most fleshed out and defined character models I've ever seen in a video game. And as you guys even look at this, like it looks like you're seeing his individual pores, like the ridges on his face, the individual beard hairs. This is crazy. This is the true next level, and if you want to push this probably on the PS5 Pro, because it allows to have the lighting effects, such as like water off his face, to go and be able to be more of a reflectory and make it look a lot nicer. Like this is truly game changing. Like this is actually next level stuff. And it just looks more realistic. Like you look on this, on like this side, it looks like fake. You look on the other side during those clips, and it would just look so much more natural, actual like flow in the hair. I remember a few years ago, we've been making a video saying like, hey, do we care this much about like people's hair? And apparently, yes, it does add a lot more effects. Or like there was like 4 years ago, and it's kind of insane to see the improvement of AI itself. But that's kind of like the big high level, just the environments and character effects look very, very good. And even a big thing is on the cars. Now, it's kind of going viral right now on how nice the cars look. Due to the fact of having, say, a PS5 Pro and having this ray tracing effects into it, because all these lighting effects, the water dripping down off the car, or even right now you guys can see the lighting effects from like, say, the streets, people driving by, or your own car, or this watch. Look at how beautiful that watch looks like in an online game. That looks like a real life watch that is very crystal clear, and utilizing things like the PSSR is going to be phenomenal. Like this is how you make these things look beautiful. Utilize the ray tracing, utilize the upscalings that are in our GPUs, or as well on things like, say, like the PS5 Pro. It's beautiful. Like this is how we want to have these environmentalist, if that's in a word. We want the environments in these games to look extremely beautiful. And that's like kind of what this game is trying to strive for, to be that first impression world of how an atmospheric horror game should go and be. Now, I do believe they have a proper partnership, funny enough, with like the car company itself. But if you look through all these street details, just everything looks beautiful. The game looks so nice. And these subtle lights are really is what shines on the PS5 Pro. Now, they do have another segment over here completely directing towards the PS5 Pro versus PS5. I'm going to let this play out, and we can talk about this as well. And I would love to hear your thoughts throughout this entire video so far. Also, I don't know if my camera just froze or what, but whatever. I'm back, baby. Also, shout out to the Digital Foundry in the first place for this video as well.
But that 120 hertz mode is key, because it would seem that what you get
I'm not sure. Hopefully my video's not
equals the base PlayStation 5 version. That's right. The PS5 experience is a match for the Pro's 120 hertz experience. You get the same slightly above 1080p resolution with spatial upscaling. And
it still does look nice.
Traced reflections and global illumination. As a little example, take a look at the guy holding the umbrella right here in this scene. Beneath him, with the ray tracing enabled, you actually get sort of more ambient shading, the shadow from the umbrella above.
Like this to me feels like a completely different game. This guy is like scary, like hidden in the winds. You know, you have all this just dark over here. Look at the lights. Like this is scary. First, you have the PS5, and you have this, it's kind of more grayed out. I keep on always saying it's like a blue scale grayed out vibe. It's not a vibe. I don't know. It just looks different. Like you can see more stuff, yes, but it's not as scary. If you can see everything, you're not really in a horror game. And once again, we're focusing on the atmosphere for this all. And yeah, it's still nice to have the frames you can go get, as they've mentioned, but it is a completely different looking game.
On PS5, you don't see that, and he just sort of glows unnaturally in the scene. Stuff like this is all across the game. Yes, these RT features are indeed exclusive to PS5 Pro, and obviously PC, but that's another video. But what surprised me is that while those effects do make a difference, the
Like,
results
look at
here
this.
are
Like, you can literally see the environment above you. This looks like real life. On the right side looks like a damp, dirty puddle. This looks like you're about, like, if you see a ghost or something jumping between these buildings, you're going to be scared. This, yeah, you're going to be scared if your shoes get dirty.
better than I expected. You do lose out on some of the visual sheen, but still.
But it still looks good, though.
This is a gorgeous game without ray tracing.
Like, it's not perfect, but the Pro is way better, yes, but
excellent. All other details are a match, though. Hair strands, subsurface scattering, all of
and this is beautiful. They pull this off with a normal PS5.
Really, the main issue here stems from image quality, which, as noted earlier, seems to rely on that basic spatial upscaling.
Yeah, it's a lot of the upscaling and a lot of the ray tracing.
Noticeably less sharp than PS5 Pro's RT mode. Still, despite
which
that,
is why the Pro is phenomenal for this.
Gorgeous game, even without these features, which shows just how nicely it scales across various pieces of hardware. Something that'll be very interesting.
Very good for PC
too in the next video. Now, in terms of performance, the results here are very simple. PS5 and PS5 Pro in ray tracing mode both run at and mostly maintain a stable 60 frames per second.
Which is beautiful, optimized.
It's not 100% locked, but it's close enough to call it that. It's very smooth indeed. This street scene here right at the beginning of the game is actually one of the most demanding scenes I found throughout my entire
It's like there's a lot of things going on. You have cars with the ray tracing.
Just below 60 FPS here with ray tracing engaged. But aside from this and maybe one or two other small spaces, it really is stable. In addition, the game natively supports VRR and will trigger it when enabled on a supported television, which is great for smoothing out.
See, this does look nice. You can see just the big difference. It's just a lot more barren.
The 120 hertz mode on Pro is where things get a little more variable. It aims for 120, and it largely meets this goal, but it's not perfect, and there's a lot more variance here. Most TVs capable of 120 hertz output likely do at least support VRR, so it won't be a big issue, but it is something that I noted along the way. That opening street scene again is pretty heavy in the 120 hertz mode. But still, with VRR, it is pretty good.
I mean, if you pull in 95 frames, that's not bad at all.
And better image quality. Which brings us to Xbox. Series X is dead simple. It looks and runs exactly like PlayStation 5. You get the same resolution.
That's pretty much all we kind of need to know for that, honestly.
Mostly locked 60 FPS. Yep, that means you get hair strands, but no ray tracing, along with that spatial upscaling.
And you can kind of even see it on this. Like, this looks more realistic. This looks a little shoddy. You're seeing like some of the letters look a little weird and off. This looks more realistic. So that's pretty much, I think, the biggest gist of this all, because I do think a lot of our audience is more on the PlayStation end. But it does seem like Xbox is doing fine. It's like working well. It does work, it does launch, but at the same exact time, it does seem like the PS5 Pro is clearly a ground winner. Yeah, a few maybe minor issues when it comes to like a visual fidelity for it, little shimmering, little glitching, but it does seem like that's the better environment. It utilizes the ray tracing, the PSSR to make the whole lighting effects and details a whole lot nicer, and at the end of the day, I think this is definitely a PS5 Pro, like I would say, improvement. Like, it's a good showcasing of how good that console can utilize this all stuff on up. It seems like the PS5 still looks beautiful, and the PC versions are all well optimized so far. This game might be a contender for Game of the Year. Would love to hear your thoughts as well, and I hope you guys appreciate the kind of like reaction video on this all, and using this to showcase some of my own opinions and thoughts. Shout out to Digital Foundry for this one, and I do appreciate y'all for watching. We might do little bonus marathon streams, to be on the lookout for the channel. We have the Twitter and Twitch down below. Would love to have you guys, and I appreciate you guys all very much for watching here in the first place.